I think there are a lot of things which are natural to who we are, right? Our temperament, our personality, who we are just naturally. I'm, for example, the type of person who is more introverted, more laid back, more calm, more easygoing, right? That's just who I am, naturally. And you watching this, you might be the same way, or you might be more extroverted, more outgoing, more of the life of the party type of person, so on and so forth, right? And I think within who we are naturally, there are things which come easy to us. And on the other hand, there are things which come not so easily to us, right? But I don't think we truly recognize just how much of our limitations, just how much of what we think we're not capable of doing are really self-imposed. I don't think we truly recognize just how much our limitations in life are limitations that we truly place on ourselves, right? Like, just because I'm the type of person who's more introverted and more laid back doesn't mean that I have to be socially awkward. Or just because I'm more introverted doesn't mean that I have to be someone who's terrible at public speaking, right? Those are limitations that I place on myself. Those limitations are limitations which are self-imposed, right? I remember a few semesters ago, right? I took public speaking in college. And, if you're in college, you know that public speaking is oftentimes a prerequisite for whatever reason, right? And I remember just off me being who I am, me embracing who I am naturally, me not trying to change myself and change my personality to be more extroverted and more outgoing or more loud, so on and so forth. I remember just from me being who I am naturally, I was one of the best, if not the best public speaker in that whole class. And that's because I didn't allow my personality, I didn't allow who I was to be a limitation. I turned my personality and my authentic self into my greatest strength. And I don't think we truly recognize just how much we really make who we are into a limitation, right? Oftentimes I'll hear a person say, I'm not capable of doing this because my personality is like this. I'm not capable of speaking in public or being good at public speaking because this is my personality. Or this thing that, I find it difficult to do or impossible to do, it is because of my personality, right? And that's just us putting limitations on ourselves. That's us building a cage from our own self-doubts, from our own insecurities, from our own fears, and we're allowing those things to keep us trapped. But you have to recognize that when it comes on to this thing that we call life, you are never limited. You are never confined. The only limitations that we have are the ones that we place on ourselves. The only limitations that exist are the ones that we create in our minds without recognizing that we have the potential, we have the capacity to rise above them. Right? Many of us don't even recognize just how much we're capable of. Many of us don't even recognize the potential that lies dormant within us because either we're trying to be someone else or we're completely disregarding our natural personality without recognizing that that is where our greatest potential lies. That is where our power lies. Our power always lies in who we are. That is our strength. Right? You're not going to get to a place in which you truly recognize how much you're capable of until you start to embrace your authentic self. Right? You watching this right now, the only reason you feel limited, the only reason you feel confined, the only reason you feel like you're trapped is because you have not embraced who you are. And because you have not embraced who you are, you have not gotten to the depths of who you are to recognize just how much you're capable of. To recognize just how much potential lies within you, right? And I think the more I know myself, the more I know who I am, the more I recognize my potential for even greater change, right? And what I mean by that is I will never be someone else. I can't be anyone else. And as a matter of fact, the more I fall in love with myself, the more I love myself, the more I don't want to be anyone else. But I could always be a better version of myself. I could always be a better me. Right? There is no limit to who I am and to what I'm capable of doing. Right? But recognizing your potential begins with you first and foremost embracing yourself, knowing yourself, fully stepping into who you are. That's where it truly begins. I think so many of us in this world are so ashamed of ourselves. We're so ashamed to say, this is me. This is who I am. We're so afraid of embracing who we are. Because for whatever reason, we believe that who we are isn't good enough. And we believe that who we are is limited. Right? Very few of us in this world actually really like and appreciate ourselves. We're always trying to be someone else. We're always trying to escape ourselves. And because we're trying to escape ourselves and we never get to a place in which we fully accept ourselves, we believe we're these limited beings. We believe who we are is set in stone. And the thing is about recognizing that we are not these fixed concepts. Who we are isn't set in stone, right? We are fluid. We are capable of so much change. And the only limitations that we truly have are the limitations that we place on ourselves, right? A lot of us create these invisible cages from our self-doubts, our insecurities, our fears, and we keep ourselves trapped without recognizing that we are always the holder. We always hold the key to our freedom. We are never trapped. We are never imprisoned unless we imprison ourselves. And the ironical part about that is that only us can truly set ourselves free. Only us can give ourselves the freedom that we seek. And that begins with accepting who we are first and foremost, but allowing who we are to be expressed fully, without thinking that we're not good enough, without thinking that we're limited, without putting restrictions on who we are. That is where it begins. by embracing ourselves, fully stepping into who we are, right? When you get to a place in which you really begin to know yourself, you begin to recognize that you have a choice as to who you want to be, right? Because the more you know yourself, the more you get to a place in which you truly know yourself, or you know yourself more and more, the more you recognize that who you are is limitless. There's so much potential lying dormant within us, waiting to be expressed. But unless we allow ourselves to fully express ourselves, and unless we fully embrace ourselves, then we will always take our potential to the grave. We will live our lives feeling trapped, feeling restricted, feeling limited, and we will leave this earth never truly discovering just how much potential we truly have. One of the greatest tragedies of life is leaving this world and never truly recognizing just how much potential you have. That is one of the greatest tragedies of this thing that we call human experience. And most people leave this world never truly recognizing just how powerful they are, never truly recognizing just how much they were capable of doing. And it really came from their own limitations. It came from their own fears. It came from their own self-doubts. It came from them creating their own cages and keeping themselves trapped. That's where it comes from. The only limitation that exists is the one that we place on ourselves. And until we recognize that who we are is limitless, right? There's no limit to who we are. There's no limit to who we can be. Until we recognize that, then we will go our entire lives playing small. We will go our entire lives underestimating ourselves, belittling ourselves, right? You have to recognize that you are capable of so much more than you even recognize. And you have a choice as to who you want to be. We have a choice, right? You can't be someone else, right? There are things which come natural to the way we are. And it's not about changing that. It's about knowing yourself, recognizing who you are, embracing yourself fully, and recognizing that within who you are capable of anything. And there's no limit to who we are. But the more we go through life allowing who we are to be a limitation, we will never get to a place in which we recognize that who we are has always been our strength. Strength lies in who we are naturally. The people who will live the life that they want to live, the people who will live happy and fulfilled lives, are people who first and foremost embraced who they are. And they didn't try to be anyone else but themselves. And you can't find happiness, you can't find peace, you can't find joy, you can't find love in this world by pretending to be someone else. To me, the highest form of self-love, the highest form of love in general, is authenticity. And until you step into who you are, Until you stop pretending to be someone else, or you stop allowing who you are to be a limitation or to be a drawback, you will never truly get to a place in which you recognize that who you are has always been your greatest strength. Right? So the more you know yourself, the more you embrace yourself, the more you step into who you are, that is when you begin to recognize that you have a choice as to who you want to be. And all those limitations that you keep placing on yourself, all those things that you keep telling yourself you're not capable of doing, you will recognize that they were always just self-imposed limitations. And that's when you truly begin to rise above them, right? So yeah, a part of knowing yourself is recognizing that you get to choose who you want to be. And when I say you get to choose who you want to be, it doesn't mean trying to be someone else, or it doesn't mean trying to change certain things which are natural to you. It's about knowing who you are, embracing yourself fully, and recognizing that there's no limitation to your authentic self. And all the limitations that we have, all the things that we think we're not capable of doing, they are really self-imposed. And at any moment, we can rise above them. Peace and blessings.